Hey team, Coach Aaron here, taking your brief for Thursday, the 9th of September from my living room. Alright, so what we're going to be starting off with today is we're going to start off with our warm-up. Okay, so it's going to be a nice simple 4-minute Tabata, so 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We're going to alternate each time. Okay, so the first 20-second block, we're going to go through some Bodybuilders To Lunge. Okay, so what it'll look like is down, bodybuilder, stand up, lunge, each leg, okay, and I'll move through that for 20 seconds. I'm going to have my 10-second rest, okay, gives me enough time to get down to the floor, okay. I'm going to start here, alright, then I'm going to go into my back extension, alright, then into my pike, and moving through these movements for 20 seconds, making sure that I'm just moving through nice and controlled, working on getting some good stretching going and mobility stuff there. Then after I've done my 4-minute Tabata, I'm going to move on to some stretches. So we're going to do a 30-second stretch each side of these movements. Okay, so the first one's going to be our pigeon. Alright, so I'm bringing that leg across, lining up that chest with that knee. Okay, and I'm going to sit through, if I can, I'm going to sit forward and down over the top, get those glutes stretched out. Alright, then switch legs. Alright, 30 seconds again. Down, chest over the knee if we can. Alright, then after we've done 30 seconds on each side of that, we're going on to a half straddle stretch. Okay, so what that will look like is foot's going to be tucked in, other foot's out to the side. Alright, and I'm going to sit forward and over towards that leg for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to switch sides after 30 seconds. Awesome. Sweet. So that will be your warm-up. So what we got first of all today is we've got some skill work. Okay, so it's just a chance to have a play around with some movements. So how this is going to work is I am going to pick 3 movements. 1 movement from each of our options. Okay, so the first option will be a handstand option. Next one will be some sort of double under, skipping option. The next one will be some sort of hamstring development option. Okay, so we're going to spend about approximately a minute on each of our options, rotating through for 4 sets. Okay, so first of all, our handstand options. Our options are a freestanding handstand push-up. So what we're going to focus on with this movement, okay, is our hands are going to have to be a little bit further out from our head than what we would be for if we're against the wall. When we're against the wall, we've got the option to lean against the wall, so we don't have to be so deep in relation to our triangle with our palms in the top of our head. Okay, so when we're up on a wall, we're usually about here. If we're going to go into a freestanding, we're going to bring those hands out away from our face a little bit further, just to help with balance. Okay, so for me, I'm going to be about here, down into my headstand, and then from here, kicking up into my handstand push-up. Okay, trying to make it as perfect as possible. Okay, if we can cycle out reps, then do so. Okay, just be mindful, don't drop onto your head. Okay, guide yourself down nice and slow. Okay, so this is freestanding. I'm not as good at these, okay, but I'll give it my best go. Alright, so up. The best we can, for as long as we can. That is the best I've ever done handstand hold. Okay, it was great. Alright, then we're going into a wall facing handstand hold, okay, with shoulder taps if we can. I'm unable to do that because I don't really have any wall space here. Okay, but basically you're going to wall walk up the wall. I want you to focus on squeezing core as tight as possible. Okay, so toes will be on the wall, hands will be there. And if we can, once we're on that wall, we're going to try to do some shoulder taps as well if we can. If not, another little progression that we can do for those shoulder taps is just trying to bring your hands up off the floor the best you can. Alright, so that's a good way to think of it too. And that will help with that handstand work towards maybe any handstand walks. Alright, so those are our handstand options. If we need to go any further, there's other things we can do. Alright, if you just want to work on pike position, shoulder taps, that's an option as well if you would prefer to scale it back even further. Alright, so our next options that we can pick from are going to be double under based. Okay, so the first one is just going to be, if you're pretty confident with double unders, pick a rep scheme and you're going to work through that every block. Okay, so making sure that we're moving well, okay, thinking about trying not to do any of our common faults, which is the old scoop double under or the old butt kick double under. That's what we're going to be focusing on with our double unders. is thinking about keeping as nice and tall as possible. So if I'm doing my double unders, all right, I'm thinking about as soon as I bound off the floor, I'm going to extend my hip, keep nice and tall. So what it will look like is this, all right, rather, all right, than this, okay, or this one. Okay, what we're doing there is we're kind of muting our hip, okay, so we're not allowing ourselves to get as much power produced in that bound as possible, okay, so thinking about being as efficient as possible with how we're using our body through this movement, okay, so that's option one. Okay, next option is just to work on it as skill-based as possible. If that means we're doing like a single to double under sort of thing, or just working on that double under as best as possible, okay. The third option is going to be trying to be more specific with what we're trying to get out of that double under. So if we're unable to do it because our timing's a bit out, okay, what I suggest is doing some penguin jumps, okay, so hands to the side, okay, focusing on only moving at the wrist to slap the side of your legs. All right, from here, keeping nice and tall, we're going to jump, keep nice and locked out as we jump. The reason why we're thinking about just using through our wrist, okay, because when we do a double under, most of that rotation is from the wrist, not the arms like we would if we were doing a single under. Okay, so thinking about fast through the wrists and that penguin jump through the wrists. Okay. Awesome. Next one is going to be our hamstring development. Okay, so what we can do first of all is we can do some Nordic curls. So Nordic curls is when we're set up on the floor. Okay, we're thinking about keeping nice and tall. All right, from here we usually have somebody holding our ankles and we're sitting forward and lowering ourselves down to the floor. Obviously, I don't have anybody here to help me demo that. Okay, so I'm going to show you basically what the movement looks like. So partner's going to be holding my ankles. I'm going to tilt forward and try to resist myself going straight down to the floor as fast as possible by keeping it as tight as possible through everything. Down, throw myself back up, re-engage those hamstrings as I come back up from the floor. Okay, the most that we want to get out of is the negative part, so the lowering down. Okay, so partner's holding your ankles. Cool, so that's just 5 reps of that. Okay, next option, okay, is our hamstring curls with the band. Okay, so these are going to be single leg. I'm going to chuck my foot in. Alright. Then from here, laying flat on the floor, okay, and then pulling in nice and fast. Okay, this is 10 to 20 reps each leg, okay, but that rep range will change dependent on how thick your band is. Okay, so if it's quite a thick band, cut back the reps a little bit. Alright, if you've got quite a thin band, keep those reps a little bit higher. We want to be trying to be as explosive as possible, so pulling that band in, releasing it back out. Okay, our next option after that is going to be a single leg glute bridge. Okay, so thinking about driving that heel into the floor, almost enough that your toes are popping off the floor a little bit. From here, leg is out, hips are down, and then I'm going to fire up and then back down. Firing up, back down. We're going to go through 10 reps each leg of that. Cool, so that's your hamstring stuff there. So conditioning today is 5 rounds, okay, of your respected equipment workout, I guess you can call it. Yep, so if you're doing the conditioning side for barbell, alright, what we have is we've got 5 rounds of squat snatches first of all, okay, so full snatches. This is at 40 and 30, so if that's quite heavy for you, scale the weights back, okay, because it should be in the lighter ranges there, okay, so first of all, sitting up nice and tall, so that squat snatch, alright, from the floor each time. Once we've done our 7, we're going to go into 7 overhead squats. So moving through, keeping nice and tall, keeping those feet grounded. After those 7 reps, then we go into our lateral burpees over the bar. So down to the floor, up and over. Okay, I'll go back down to the floor. That would be 2, okay, until I've done 7. I'm going to go through 5 rounds of that. Cool? If I'm in the kettlebell, dumbbell equipment workout. Alright, so what we have is we've got 7 dumbbell snatches. Okay, so these are going to be full snatches each side as well. So 7 each side. From here to that squat snatch. Okay? Alright, once I've done 7 each side, then I'm going to move on to 7 thrusters. The thrusters are total So this isn't each side. Okay, so I'll just do 7 if I wanted to, 7 all on one side if I wanted to, or I could split it up. Cool. And then from there, lateral burpees over my dumbbell. So that would be your 5 rounds for the dumbbell kettlebell group. Okay, for the body weight group, we're going on to 5 rounds of 14 frog jumps and 12 burpees. So 5 rounds of 14 frog jumps. So down, touch the floor, jump. Okay, 14 of those, and then into 12 burpees. So to the floor, up, jump and clap, trying to get nice and tall. Alright, so once you've done your 5 rounds, depending on what all through all of them, okay, so it doesn't matter if you do barbell, dumbbell or body weight, you will be buying out with a 800 meter run, or a 1K/800 meter row, or 42/35 calories if you have a assault bike or anything like that. So this has a 15-minute cap on it. So if that gives you any indication on how this workout should be performed, alright, is it needs to be a bit faster. Okay, these sets of barbell or dumbbell or the bodyweight movements need to be close to unbroken as possible. Okay, if you are going to have a rest, make sure it's a nice short rest. Okay, so time yourself, give yourself 10 seconds tops. Okay, but make sure that if you are in that 10-second sort of bracket for your rest breaks, make sure you're doing a lot of reps to follow that up, not 2 reps and then another 10-second rest sort of thing. Okay, so making sure that we're trying to get under that time cap. Okay, so that's, we're looking at a 800 meter run of taking, let's say, up to 4 minutes. That gives you 11 minutes to do 5 rounds just there and there on its own. Okay, so think about getting through that work as fast as possible. Okay, cool. Be safe, team. Look after yourselves. See you soon. Hopefully we'll be at level 3 soon, and then following that level 2 we'll be able to see each other in the gym. Okay, but see you around. Stay safe.